This is the UCM45 cutting machine for rebar. This has a 32mm capacity with a 5 horsepower, 415 volt, 3-phase motor. So just to take you along with it, it basically has its cutting disc up front over here with a guard panel. You have a chuck over here that helps guide it for different sizes of rebars that can be easily turned around based on what type of rebar you're cutting. On the other side of the motor, you have a very simple user interface with a on and off switch, and you have a guard over here to cover the belt that is connected to the motor and over to the cutting mechanism. The on-off switch for these machines are very easy. It's a simple downward movement, but for any case, when you move it down and it isn't responding, it might be something as simple as this little bolt. This is just a bolt that stops the entire movement. You can move it up or down depending on what the issue is. If you move it up, it allows this movement to be a lot longer and down a lot shorter. When setting up the machine, make sure that you connect to a 380 or 400 volt 3-phase connection. After that, make sure that you flip this up and make sure that your blade inside is not moving. If it is, there are 4 bolts over here that can help tighten and squeeze that blade in place. Once you know that the machine is running, you can turn on the on switch on that side. But before you do any cutting, make sure to open this nut over here and check that the oil is at a proper capacity. Then make sure that you are doing about 30 seconds of test runs without rebar on the inside to make sure that the blade is running smoothly, nothing is moving around too much, and that your cutting mechanism is also running just fine. We have about 5 USPs for this cutting machine after about 30 years of building them, renting them, trading them, and now finally assembling and modifying our very own. With this particular model, we have realized that there is an issue with the steel construction, so we've made sure to use a much thicker plate so that it gives more rigidity to the complete machine. On the inside, we have a 2-stage gear setup to make sure that it's a lot more seamless and you don't get a lot of vibrations inside of the machine. Lastly, upkeep and maintenance of this machine is very similar to our bending machine and almost as easy. This basically has no upkeep at all. You just have to make sure of about 4 different points. Always before starting, make sure that you check the tolerance of your blade over here, make sure it's not wiggling around, and do a few test cuts without any rebar to make sure that the blade is running smoothly. After this, make sure that there is no binding up front, let's say with your roller over here, or the chuck that allows the different diameters of rebar to fit in. If there is a bit of binding, you can always loosen this or add a bit of lubrication to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. Always before starting, make sure that your belts on the inside are in good condition and that they're not worn out. If they are, we always supply replacement belts, and we have a bunch of spare parts for these machinery always on hand.